If you are a software developer or publisher considering developing your own licensing or license management system, then this video describes some issues you should consider. We're not saying at all that we know what you should be doing. We're describing what we've seen based on nearly a decade of experience of working in the license management industry. We have had many companies come to us and describe these following types of issues with internally developed licensing systems. So you decided that you need a licensing system to protect your software products, or perhaps an embedded or combined hardware and software system. And you might be thinking as follows, that clearly you know how to write software, that you know what license models, what types of licensing you want to offer, that you have some time in the development schedule, perhaps some developer time available, so why not have your developers build a system? Which all sounds very straightforward and reasonable. However, there are a number of issues that we'd recommend you consider, as I said, based on our experience of a decade of focusing on license management and working with software development companies. The first question is, if you go ahead and build an in-house licensing tool, will it actually meet your needs? Because you're at the start of a development project potentially, and as you have not yet developed this system, then you can't do things such as test it. Is it secure? Examine the features, check how easy it is to use. You can't do pilots or presentations to key accounts and see what they think about it. You can't get feedback from sales or marketing and key partners, perhaps resellers, distribution partners, and so on. And you can't see how it will fit into your operations, your fulfillment, updates, and so on. However, with the commercial licensing system, it's complete, it's working, it's ready now, and in most cases you can obtain an evaluation license at no charge and check all these different factors to make sure that the system will actually do what you're looking for and meet everybody's needs across all the different constituencies, customers, resellers, and yourselves internally. Second issue to think about is, will the licensing system actually be secure, which you would think is a key requirement in a license management system. Now, developing licensing systems, particularly nowadays when most people are looking for activation over the internet, network-based licensing, things such as that, requires very highly specialized knowledge. The people who develop the commercial systems have been doing this for many years. It's been their professional focus for a long time typically, and they have a lot of experience to bring to bear on the problem and knowledge of what are the different ways that licensing systems can be attacked, what the possible security holes are. And of course the commercial systems themselves have in most cases been out there and in use across a number of different deployment scenarios, different industries, different verticals for a number of years. So any security holes will have come to light and hopefully have been fixed by the vendor of that system. By contrast, if you're doing your own system and if you don't have in-house experts who spent many years focusing on this topic, it will not be secure. There will be security holes, just scenarios, ways of hacking your system that you've not foreseen. And secondly, if your system does have security holes, how do you even know? At what point will you find out that people are able to abuse your licenses, have access to more licenses perhaps than they've purchased? Another issue to think about is, when will the complete solution actually be in place? And without maligning anybody, it is a fact that software development projects are notoriously prone to miss dates, to be extended as new requirements emerge, as the people doing the development learn more about the subject and they realize there's more that they need to do. And I'm not going to read through all of them, but there are many different things that you need to have in place to have a complete solution. It's not just a client library and a key generator. It can be all of these different things. Things to do with issuing licenses, things to do with upgrading licenses, ways of managing the security, integrating with your back office, supporting different platforms. How do you control who's allowed to issue licenses, documentation, user level operations documentation, testing and QA, internal controls, and so forth. And all of these things are of course already completed and done and available now in a commercial system. Next issue to think about is that there will very likely be new requirements, and this is one of the major areas we see of companies who are coming to us and say, yes, we developed a licensing system in-house, we had a guy put it together some years ago, but now it just doesn't meet our needs. We've had new things arise. And any system that you develop is necessarily going to be based on your requirements as you perceive them right now. However, there are many things that can arise, new needs that could come from the market, from your marketing colleagues, things such as a large customer that you're talking to decides they want floating licensing and you hadn't envisaged that at all, or there are new license models start becoming popular in your market, usage-based licensing, subscription licensing, whatever it might be. Perhaps you change your sales strategy and start selling via resellers or by offshore resellers, and you need to figure out a way of going through that channel. You have a new platform that comes along, or perhaps you start selling offshore and you decide that you need to beef up security and that your existing system is really just not secure enough for you. So these things will happen. What that means is that a development of an in-house licensing tool is not a one-time event, a one-time commitment. It's a continuing commitment to have development resources working on upgrading and maintaining the license manager. By contrast, a correctly chosen or well-chosen licensing system will probably already meet new requirements that might arise. That the companies that sell licensing management systems have, in many cases, hundreds of customers across many different industries, so lots of different requirements. Many of the possible requirements have already arisen and been satisfied in that system. And our customers certainly find that in many cases a new requirement will come up from product marketing or from management, and they will find that our solutions already meet that, already support that need, very often without needing any engineering work to be done at all. It's just a different deployment and different setup of the license. So it really is a matter, if you're developing an internal tool and taking that path, a commitment is really a commitment to continuing development and support. As it's not a one-time activity. There will be things such as bug fixes, new license models that you'll need to do. There'll be upgrades, that are feature upgrades to the licensing system, perhaps porting to new platforms as people want to have your applications perhaps run on some flavor of Linux, or to run on Solaris or Mac or whatever it might be. So the question perhaps to ponder is, if you assign developers now, you're going to need them again in the future, and that may arise when they're really needed urgently to work on some other project, perhaps a feature for a key customer, but you have to assign them to fix a bug in the license manager, and that's really not a position you want to be in. And another scenario that arises very often, and we hear this a lot from companies coming to us, is that the developers of the license manager left the company and you're no longer able to support and maintain it, or you don't want to have somebody spend months learning again what the previous engineer had done. Another thing that we hear quite often from customers is people who say, well, we'd like to develop it because it'll be more secure if we build it ourselves and if nobody else knows how the licensing system is working. And as I tried to indicate before, this really is very unlikely. That making a licensing system to be truly secure against all the many possible ways that people out there can try to abuse the license, to extend it beyond a time limit, to get licenses working on multiple machines when they're only intended to be run on one, and so forth, really does require highly specialized knowledge. So it's very unlikely that any system that you can develop in-house will be anywhere near as secure as any commercial system. And this is generally true if you think about other areas, things such as antivirus systems, firewalls, those types of security things, even door locks. That there are companies who've been building door locks for decades, and you go to them if you need a door lock, and you're relying on their expertise of how they have learned how to protect against people trying to break the locks, to push the tongue back with a credit card, all these different things. They know how to do that. They've acquired that knowledge over years of experience. So we hope this is helpful. As I said at the beginning, we're not pretending to know what you should be doing. We're just bringing to light some of the issues that have been brought to us, have come to us over the many years of working with software development companies. And as you can see on the screen, there's our website and our phone numbers and email address. If you do have any further questions or would be interested in our solutions, do please contact us at this address. Thank you very much for your time and attention.